Hello everyone, Jason Olea back here again, and today we got the season finale of Loki to talk about, and this time around, Loki and Sylvie finally made it to the guy who is in charge of everything in the TVA and the timeline they're trying to keep together, and once they meet He Who Remains, they had to make a decision that could alter the course of the future of the MCU, or everything could just stay the same. Now, in my opinion, this season finale absolutely works. And it makes me look back to the season finales of WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and even though I like those finales, I tend to actually go with more for this finale rather than those. Because while those are very action heavy, here it is a lot more dialogue driven instead of action driven, which is extremely rare for a Marvel movie in general. Almost all of the time, or basically all the time in the MCU, these finales tend to end with a big battle. And I really enjoy those battles. Here, even though there is a fight scene, it's not like a big climatic battle. It kind of reminds me of the personal battle in Civil War. Sure, that was big with superheroes, but the execution and emotional core of that battle is so personal. Here, it is the same thing with Sylvie and Loki. They finally met Kang the Conqueror, or at least a variant of him. I would probably think he's probably a Mortis or something. But aside from that, he is basically, this variant is called He Who Remains as it's credited. And he's played by Jonathan Myers. And we know that he is going to be playing Kang the Conqueror in Ant-Man Quantumania. So he's basically Kang, in my opinion. No doubt about that. This is just another variant of that character. And he has been running the TVA forever, and he actually made the TVA in this execution dump of an episode for the reason to keep all his variants of Kang from causing any more destruction or war in the timeline, since his variants once met each other all together, but the bad variants of himself caused an all-out war. And that's why he created that cloud monster that we saw in the 5th episode. And he's basically keeping the timeline all secure while being a little bit insane in the way he does it, which is why Sylvie is still wanting to kill him. But Loki doesn't want Mortis dead, as he believes that if they kill him, something worse is bound to happen. And it caused a disagreement between Sylvie and Loki. They have a bit of a fight, and Sylvie gives in to her emotional desires for wanting to kill him. She basically, at the end of this dagger fight, sends Loki back to the TVA and kills this variant of Kang. And now the timeline is all fucked up. We see the branches branching out and across the universe, and now the TVA have no choice but to let it all happen. And Mobius is trying to free B-15, and they're trying to get everyone in the TVA to believe that they're all variants. And the boss lady, who was in charge of everything, escapes, and we're probably going to see her in season 2. It's already confirmed that there's a season 2. The post-credit scene is just confirmation that season 2, so don't stay at the post-credit scene. It's not necessary. This was, in my opinion, a great finale, and it works because it is exposition dump heavy, but it pays off everything that had been set up from the rest of the series, while also setting the groundwork for what we could expect in the next story of Loki, and possibly in Phase 4, with the multiverse now branching out. And it all hinges on the decisions the characters have to make now. It's explained that everything that happened before was actually paved by this variant of Kang in order for them to get here. And he predicted the future up to a certain point when they had to decide to either kill him or they could take over his place and rule of the TVA. I found that clever, and Jonathan Myers as his character was very entertaining. I see how insane he is at his beliefs and why he is doing what he's doing, but you can tell that he's an insane person and is definitely a villain, and still calls out Loki and Sylvie for their villainous deeds while still trying to act like they're the heroes of their own story. It's basically a pure villain show. I love it. And the conclusion and the dagger fight for these characters actually worked here, because you could tell in their emotional core why they disagree, and it actually concludes Sylvie into her character arc for wanting to kill Jonathan Myers, which she did, but that came at the cost of not trusting Loki and just getting into her emotional core and thoughts. And Loki's conclusion, he just can't be trusted ever. He's done too many bad deeds in his life to be trusted now. And even when he's so close to win Sylvie's trust, she doesn't believe it because there was a mention of a throne. And we all know that Loki loved the throne, but we could tell here that this version of Loki doesn't want it. And even though it seems like Sylvie believes him near the end, she still goes out to kill Kang. It was such a great conclusion for these characters. It just pays off everything that's just been set up with these characters and their journeys. And the last shot in which we see a statue of Kang, which is very Planet of the Apes-like for this series to do, it just leaves off at a very haunting note. I mean, I loved it when the ending has our heroes basically at a loss, and they had to now fix everything next time. This first season of Loki was great, and I love this finale overall. This is a great finale, and I just can't wait for season 2. Thank you guys so much for watching. People like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time.